I just think at the end of the day, it's so much joy. Like, even though I have days where it's pouring rain in Tacoma and I don't exactly want to be out on the training pitch, it's early, I can still find so much joy in my job every single day. And I think especially through my own journey and, you know, relating it back to my journey of coming out as trans, it was one of the times in my day that I could find peace with myself and comfortability with myself and happiness. And so I think it's one thing that's remained really constant in my life, and it's just provided me with so much in terms of enjoyment throughout my entire life. My name's Quinn. I'm a professional soccer player for the OL Reign. I definitely knew since I was a little kid that I wanted to be an athlete when I was older. I think the main thing for me was watching the Olympics growing up. I remember writing in like my grade 1 journal that I wanted to be on the podium when I was older. I wrote that as a career, which I know it's not a career, but it was close enough for me. And then really when I got older, I realized that playing professional soccer was a potential career path for me. And I think going through college is when I really started to focus on that and realized that that was probably a natural trajectory for me. The past year has definitely been a whirlwind. I definitely think that this year I couldn't have anticipated it, that's for sure. Winning a gold medal I don't think has even sunk in yet, and it was just such a surreal experience, you know, not only just to win a gold medal and be the peak of your athletic success, but also doing it with such amazing teammates and, you know, ones that have been such trailblazers in Canada. To win it with them was so special. I think it's just a testament to how hard we work together and what it meant to everyone. I didn't think that me coming out would garner such like international attention. I remember thinking that this would be a big deal maybe in my communities or in the sports realm, just the ones that I was in, maybe on my national team, but I didn't think it would garner such international attention from, you know, being the front page in so many international newspapers and, you know, so many different countries. And so I think that was really surprising for me, was how big a deal it was, because to me it just felt like I was being myself for such a long time, and so that was such a natural thing for me. And then I definitely think the surprising thing was just the amount of support I received, whether it was people, you know, kind of coming out of the woodwork from high school or whatever else, just saying how supportive they were. That was really, really nice. I mean, I think it's nice being a professional athlete. You have some capacity to deal with, you know, media attention or just in general, random strangers having thoughts or opinions on your life or your performances or whatever else. And so I think that helped me prepare a little bit, but I don't think anything really prepared me for that moment. It's so important for me that I have a platform. Yeah, and I guess a media presence as well. I think it's important to utilize that voice, especially at such a critical time in the United States where, you know, there's so many anti-trans bills being passed into legislation. I think it's so vital that people, you know, uplift the voices of, you know, the ones that are being oppressed in those situations, and yeah, using my platform in order to spark change. When I look at the experiences I had trying to figure out my own gender identity or just my own coming out experience, I realized that I needed so many more resources available to me, whether that was seeing other people on social media or just finding information online. And so that's something that I do want to provide for people. And I think it's easy for me, you know, to get access, get information from other people, and then to spread it out to people who need it. And so I think the main driver for that, for me, is just what I needed when I was going through that process, and something that I wish I had. The hardest part for me was understanding so strongly that I wanted to have a career in professional sports. I was so adamant about that trajectory for myself, but I didn't understand how that could coincide with my identity. And so for me, not being able to find people in the professional sports space that also identified as transgender was really difficult for me, you know, to feel hopeful for a future. And so I think it is so important for that visibility and people to understand that there's, you know, there's people that are pursuing their careers and they have the same identities as you. I think that that's so critical to give hope for people. I think when it comes to advocacy work, you want to say the perfect thing all of the time. And I think the more important thing is to start just talking and being your authentic self. When I look at my teammates who are really excited to be better allies, they get really nervous around saying the wrong thing or not saying the perfect thing. And I think it's so important for them to know that just starting to have these conversations is enough. And it's never going to be perfect, but that's going to be a pathway for growth for every single person. And that's, at the end of the day, going to help every community. The thing that I would want to communicate to my younger self, this sounds so corny and cliche, but that I'm perfect the way I am. And whether that's through, a sports setting, the way that I play soccer, like I don't need to adapt it to anyone else's style or whatnot. I can excel doing my own style of soccer to, my identity. I think there were a lot of times where I was trying to fit myself into a box that really wasn't a good fit. And so I think that, being my most authentic self is the one that's going to be loved by the most people and the one that's going to make, me happiest.